earlier today, Nintendo announced a partner showcase, and I'm actually not disappointed that we're getting one. I know a lot of people have been wanting a general direct, but we actually have a pretty decent schedule for the first half of 2026. Sure, they're not heavy hitters, but I do think there's some solid titles here, like Yoshi, Tomodachi Life, Rhythm Heaven, Fire Emblem, Splatoon Raiders. I do think our lineup is pretty solid here, and I don't think we necessarily need something as big as 3D Mario yet. So I think a partner showcase does make a lot of sense, and these partner showcases do seem a lot more exciting in the Switch 2 era, now that the Switch 2 is much more capable than the Switch 1. It seemed like during the Switch 1 era, we were just getting little scraps and compromised ports of games that otherwise ran significantly better on other consoles, but now it seems like the sky's the limit in terms of like ports in various games that we could get on the Switch 2. So I'm honestly kind of excited about this.
Yeah, me too. Actually, this is probably the most excited I've been for a partner showcase in a while, because I think in some other years, it's like third-party stuff I could really not care much about, because even though there would be some cool stuff, like how Pac-Man World Repack is like, that was announced there first, the main problem was that I really wouldn't care about, okay, like Persona coming to Switch, okay, that's cool, but I have a PC I can play a better way, right? That's kind of the problem I have with these partner showcases, was that there's just really nothing there that I would be super excited about, because, I'll be like, oh, these are just like port versions and they're worse, right? Like, why am I going to get so excited? But now with the Switch 2, there can be Switch 2 editions, there can be upgrades, there can be all kind of games, maybe even new announcements of major third-party games, because now that they can have, higher fidelity games, it makes them easier to introduce on those systems, right?
Yeah, and now that more developers probably have access to the dev kits now that we're approaching like the second year of the Switch 2, like in just a few months, I feel like there's definitely a possibility we could see a lot more big third-party titles. I know in that last partner showcase, like the major third-party games did seem a bit sparse for early on in the Switch 2, but I have a feeling that we might get a few, like, pretty big third-party games here, but we're gonna go through both our predictions and, like, some unlikely things that we're hoping to see. But our first prediction is a version of Minecraft for the Switch 2. So right now, like, for the Nintendo in general, we only have the Switch version of Minecraft Bedrock, and while it does run better on the Switch 2, it would be nice to get a native port of Minecraft on there, just so it runs perfectly and has a lot of the features from, like, for Minecraft on, like, modern consoles and everything.
The game does run good. I don't think that's the problem at all, because it does feel like you're playing, maybe like the PS5 version now. But the main problem I have with the game is that the main thing is that they don't have options for, say, stuff like the vibrant visuals, which all the other versions have access to. So I think that's like a major feature where I'm like, that would be cool to have on Switch. It looks nice, there should be the option for that. And again, it probably would run in general like a little bit better with some extra optimizations that the PS5 version would have. Again, with Minecraft, it's a bit different because there's so many versions of the game. So, like, the Switch version is probably just one of those versions that's just running a little bit less, in terms of its fidelity. But, hopefully a Switch 2 edition would really be a nice improvement. And I think they could even do like a bundle. Like, I know they've done some bundles with they had like a special 3DS edition.
Yeah.
Of Minecraft 3DS edition. They did like a creeper thing, so maybe they could do something like that here as well. But yeah, I think Minecraft's definitely like a must for the Switch too.
Yeah, imagine if they do like a new mashup pack as well. I know we've had the Mario one for years, but imagine if they do something like Zelda or Donkey Kong. A Donkey Kong Bonanza one would be amazing. It would be cool.
Well, they can always add stuff to the existing game, because they do actually continue to update the texture pack every update.
Yeah, but it's interesting to see what they could do for the Switch 2, and I'm definitely hoping that is announced there. And another one that I think is fairly likely is Expedition 33. This is one that a lot of people, myself included, have been wanting for the Switch 2. And I think this would work really well. I think the developers have been wanting to port it to the Switch too. So I think we could possibly see an announcement here and then a release date for like later this year, like maybe the fall of this year, so they get like enough development time to port it over to the Switch too. But I considering the fact that this game won Game of the Year, and it's very popular. I know it had a little bit of controversy with AI, but I feel like that was mostly overblown because that was mostly just like placeholder textures that they replaced.
Yeah,
but other than that,
I always find that just it's really just people complaining for something that isn't much of a big deal at all. Like, yeah, okay, they used for helping them, sure, but I think like, you know, I think it's the standard for probably the industry now to use that stuff just for like helping the people to make stuff like that, right? As long as it's not in the final game, it doesn't really matter, right? Like, I don't think it's a big deal, right?
Yeah,
and especially if they're actually getting concept artists to design stuff, and, you know, maybe they're just using AI to just come up with some general placeholders that they need to build the game. I think that's completely fair.
yeah. And I feel like other than that, this game was mostly universally acclaimed. So I definitely think Expedition 33 would be a pretty big announcement if this was at the partner showcase. But the next thing is another interesting one, and it's Beast of Reincarnation. It's the game that Game Freak has been developing. Weirdly enough, they haven't announced it for Switch 2 yet. I would be surprised if this wasn't announced for Switch 2, considering we now have a more capable system. Game Freak is developing a more, like, modern, current-gen-esque game, and Game Freak usually works with Nintendo when it comes to, like, the Pokemon games. I think it would be weird if this didn't come to Switch 2. So, maybe not, like, the same... I mean, I could see it releasing the same day, because it's supposed to release this summer. They could even, like... I'm not sure if they revealed the release date yet. They might even, do that here if they reveal this game coming to the Switch too. But I think this one makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, for sure.
And the next thing is one that I also think is pretty likely, since this will be a Switch 2 exclusive, and that's the Duskbloods. So we heard about this way back at last year's April Direct for the Switch 2, and it's supposed to release this year, so I think we might see more about it here, maybe like a 5-minute segment on it, kind of showing like what the game's about, like maybe, if not a release date, maybe a release window. So it's really surreal that we're getting a Nintendo exclusive FromSoft game. And I know some people were a bit worried about it because it is, like, seemingly PvP focused rather than, like, single player focused. But who knows? It could end up being pretty good, but we'll have to see.
Yeah. I think it looks really cool. Obviously, I haven't really played much of those games because I don't want to torture myself in case they're too difficult. But it is really cool to see Nintendo getting these games that... Normally, we would have never gotten these. It was cool watching the Direct, the first time the Switch 2 Direct, and seeing like, oh, we're getting actual major third-party game launching. Because usually we get like, say, a few years from now, the port of that, right? So it's cool to see, and yeah, I'm excited to see more of that game.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty interesting. And I also think we'll see more news about Elden Ring, because that was delayed. It did look like rough, like quite a while ago. I think that was like back in August or September. It was like there was a bit of controversy about that, where the game looked a bit off, and then like there was a version that looked slightly better. Now I feel like they've probably had enough time to iron out some of the issues, because I feel like Elden Ring doesn't really seem like a game that would like have too many issues on Switch 2, because it was on PS4, if I remember correctly. So I think I don't think Elden Ring would have too many issues on the Switch 2. So we'll just have to see, and that's probably why they delayed it. They probably heard the feedback about the game like running poorly and everything at like different builds at like I think it was at PAX or Gamescom, wherever it was at. So maybe we'll get like an update on that there. But
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's probably likely to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. And another thing This one I kind of thought of, like, when I was, like, thinking about, like, various relevant games that would make sense on Switch 2. I think Marvel Rivals makes a lot of sense, considering that game's wave of popularity over the past, like, year and a half. Usually, like, when a game gets that popular, they usually consider it adding it, or porting it over to a Nintendo console. So, I think we might see Marvel Rivals here.
Yeah, that also seems pretty likely. I think, those multiplayer games, we haven't had a lot of those major ones. So I think it'd be a good idea to get that one here. I know that one was really popular.
Yeah. Another one, I actually don't have this on the list, but I think we could possibly see, like, Hoyoverse games as well, like Genshin Impact or, Zenless Zone Zero. Like, one of those games, I think, is possible as well. I think, like, Genshin Impact was originally gonna release on Switch, but they ended up, like, scrapping that version. But I think there's definitely a possibility, like, one of those games could come to Switch too. So I think, like, there's definitely a possibility, like, of, those various, like, kind of fairly mainstream, esque games coming to Switch too.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's likely that we see that. Yeah.
Yeah, and another one, a very different game that would make a lot of sense considering the fact that we got Persona 3 Reload last year. I think Persona 4 Revival is possible. Like, I definitely think, since we already got Reload, they might announce that here. And I, like, either that or Metaphor ReFantazio is possible as well. Like, either one of those games, like, I could definitely see some Atlas game showing up, considering the fact that Atlas has consistently appeared throughout, like, Nintendo Directs and partner showcases over the past couple years, either on Switch 1 or Switch 2. So I think either one of those games is definitely possible.
Yeah, Alice really wants to support the console, so
Yeah, it seems like Atlas has been, like, supporting the, like, Nintendo consoles quite a lot over these past couple years, like, ever since, like, they ported, Persona 5 and a couple other Persona games to the Switch 1. It was very late, because a lot of people wanted those games for quite a while, but, it seems like they have been consistently supporting, like, Nintendo now. But another very weird thing, and I'll let you talk about this, because you actually brought this up when we were brainstorming some things to predict, but the YouTube app, because they confirmed this a while ago, but they still haven't released this yet.
There was some rumors recently about potentially, I think it was kind of confirmed, because there was someone from I think it was a Discord server or something that had said, at least I think so. Might not be for sure about this, or was some forum that, or maybe it was like the Reddit. I don't know. It's either Discord or Reddit or something that someone from Google that was behind the YouTube team, so that they are getting ready to launch it soon, or that it's like they submitted it either for review or something, or that it's like almost ready. So I assume that they probably want to get it done as soon as possible. Again, the YouTube app on Switch was actually used by, like, I bet you it's like 100. Hundreds of millions hours have probably been used on the YouTube app on Switch, because I know a lot of people just leave it on, or they just put on their TV, and it's really nice to have, because especially if you don't have any other entertainment thing, and you just have a Switch, it's always good to have just the ability to just load up YouTube, and it's a nice feature. So I'm really hoping that it is added as soon as possible, as I find it strange that it doesn't work. But I bet you the reason it doesn't work is because I know YouTube has some, like, issues where they don't want you to, like, record with a capture card and stuff. I think that's what I've experienced, what I've tried. I think it might be something to do with that, where the Switch 2's framework is different, so they can't just, like, boot it up and work the same, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but if the YouTube app ends up being announced and, like, releases tomorrow, I'm not sure if you can comment on any of the console versions of YouTube, but if you can, comment that you're watching this on the Nintendo Switch 2 version of the YouTube app. That would be pretty funny for any of you watching.
Drop, maybe. It could. It could be like, oh, okay, we're gonna drop it.
Yeah, but
so I could see them doing that. That'd be cool.
Next up, another thing that has been heavily rumored throughout January, a non-cloud version of the Kingdom Hearts collection. I think it's like a collection. Could be coming. I think that's definitely possible. I would finally get the game because I do not want to get the cloud version of it, and I've been meaning to play the Kingdom Hearts games, so this is definitely something that I'm hoping for, and something that I also think is fairly likely as well.
Yeah, I think at this point, Square Enix is going to try and support the Switch as much as they can, considering that they're doing the Final Fantasy VII Remake and potentially the other games, which maybe we can talk about in a second. I think more Square Enix games are likely to follow. I think that's one that means Sora is in Smash, so it makes sense to have an actual native version.
Oh yeah. And another thing is like Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment DLC, because we've gotten like announcements for DLC for like past Hyrule Warriors games, or specifically Age of Calamity in partner showcases. Yeah, partner showcases did exist when Age of Calamity released. And, man, it's hard to believe that it's been like 6 years.
I think that was like one of the first ones in 2021, I think, because that game came out in 2020. Yeah, it would have been around there. Another thing, actually, I'll say about Age of Calamity. Do you think we could actually get like an update for that game, like like a Switch 2 edition, or maybe not Switch 2 edition, but like a free update that like improves the frame rate? Because I went back to that game recently, and it's like it's 30 frames locked, and actually the Hyrule Warriors, the definitive edition, that runs at 60. So thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah, I think that's definitely possible. We could get, like, maybe not a Switch 2 edition, but, like, an update for Age of Calamity. And another thing I would like for, like, probably either of these, because Age of Imprisonment, like, while it's really smooth, the resolution is shockingly low for the Switch 2. I think it's, like, below 1080p. So I think, like, they should have maybe a setting for, like, upscaling. So I think, like, maybe, like, upscale it to something like 1440p or something like that, or just, like, 1080p in general. I think that would be nice. I mean, I haven't really noticed too many issues with how the game looks, because it is, like, a native Switch 2 game. Just the way the game runs, it doesn't look too bad with its resolution, but it would be nice if it had, like, some kind of, like, DLSS upscaling mode. If, like, Koei Tecmo wanted to add something like that to the game. I'm not sure if that's possible, but it would be nice.
Yeah, I think that the DLC would probably be in a similar way to how they did it with the last one, where it was like a set of 2, it was like waves or something, season pass. Actually, I never checked it out. I mean, I liked Age of Calamity, but to me, the thing that kind of made me less interested with that game overall was that it ran so poorly.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it didn't run like super terrible, and I mean on Switch 2, it's okay, I guess. But that game just, especially when a lot of things were going on, it wasn't that great. But I'm gonna add another thing too to this list. I don't know if it's in this in our document there, but I'm gonna add, since we're talking about Square Enix before, there was rumors about potentially us seeing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Because there's a rumor about that going around, and I really hope so, because I do want to play the Final Fantasy VII Remake, but it would be annoying if they're like, oh, we're not going to make the rest for Switch 2. I'm like, imagine this is like, what?
Well, actually, they did confirm that the other 2 will be coming to Switch 2. Like, I think in the last partner showcase.
That would make sense, but like sometimes you don't know with Square Enix, and they're like, oh, you know what? We're just going to put the one because we don't know if we're going to want to put the work into the others.
Yeah.
But yeah, because that would be kind of annoying, you know. I actually, like, one thing I do like about the Switch 2 is that it actually requires companies to put a bit work into optimization. But you can't just, like, you know, put the game as is and it's like, oh, it will run perfectly. No, it's got to be optimized to at least, you know, because the Switch 2 isn't like a I mean, it's powerful, very powerful system, but it's not going to do all the work. They have to do the work to make sure that
Yeah,
it runs
it's kind of
good too, right?
It's kind of like how games have to be optimized for Xbox Series S. Like most of the current gen games have to be like
Exactly,
because
yeah.
it seems like most games that are able to run on Xbox Series S can also run on the Switch 2. So it seems like the Switch 2 and Series S are kind of like the baseline of how games should be developed for this generation, and then are just enhanced on like stuff like PS5 and Xbox Series X. So I think like I feel like games don't have to be too demanding as long as they can be like optimized well. So it's I could definitely see like a lot of games kind of working with that. But another game that I think is definitely possible, because this is another one that has been rumored quite a lot, Red Dead 2. I'm surprised we haven't seen this yet, considering like how much rumblings we've been seeing of this game over the past few months. I know there's a possibility that Rockstar could just like announce it separately, but I mean, it would also kind of make sense to have this as like a big announcement in like the middle of the direct as well, considering like how popular this game is, and it just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I wonder like if a lot of this stuff will be also shadow dropped. So it'd be cool. They're like, oh, it's available digitally now in a physical edition, follows up later. So
Yeah, that would be crazy, honestly.
One thing I did want to tell you about is do you think a lot of these will be just game key cards?
I think there will
game
be
key card direct.
Yeah, I think most of them will probably be game key cards, but I think there is a possibility that a few won't. Because it seems like there has been a trend lately of like some games like releasing actually physically on the Switch 2. It's since Nintendo is rolling out more options now, and it seems like some developers are like wanting to actually release it physically, despite the cost. So I think there might be like I think honestly, like if they do a physical Minecraft for Switch 2, that will be on the cartridge. I definitely think that's a safe bet for a game being on the cartridge. I'm not sure like what other games we've been talking about. I think most of these will still be on game key cards, but we'll have to see.
I know, yeah, because that's definitely a major thing, right? Is that a lot of these games are on game key cards. Like I get why they're using it, because I think, you know, a lot of games on other platforms use that kind of approach where a lot of it is download, which I get. I mean, to me, it's probably the only way they could have really gone about doing most of it anyways, especially for big games. And you know, I don't mind it so much as for if the game is large, right? I think it makes a lot of sense. It's just when the game is a small game, that's when I don't like it being used.
Yeah.
That I always find it quite funny. It's like, oh, we're gonna put our 5 gigabyte game on like a key card. Like
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous.
like it's like, okay, like couldn't that be on a smaller thing or something? Or you know, if it's like, okay, the game is like 100 gigabytes, I get it, you know. But if it's a smaller game, I'm always a little bit like, yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea. So I'm curious to see what games do get the key card and what games don't. You know, also one thing as well that I also don't like sometimes about these third-party games, especially I think Sega's done this a little bit too, right? Where it's like, and even Bandai Namco, they don't give you the upgrade pass, so you buy a Switch 1 edition and you can't upgrade it. And I always find that so strange.
Yeah, that sucks.
Like Pac-Man World Repack did that. It's like, okay, you could buy the physical cartridge of that, but then it's like, oh, for the update, yeah, you can't get it. It's like, what? Like, there's really no point. Like, you want people to buy a second copy? Like, I don't really understand, because then it gets,
yeah. Like,
I don't know, because I think it really hurts sales.
Like, imagine if someone buys a game on Switch 1, since they still have the Switch 1, then later on they get the Switch 2, then they're stuck with the Switch 1 version of the game. That actually happened with me for Sonic and Shadow Generations. Like, it's really annoying, and,
yeah. I don't get why they don't have the option. Like, do they not want money? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe they want more money because they want you to buy it again. Never mind.
Yeah. But I wanted to move on to some of our other predictions, like our final two before we get into some of our wishes. But I think this is another one that like was kind of leaked. Someone on my Discord server actually mentioned this, but SLMU, shout out to SLMU, but the TT games, Lego games, are apparently getting Switch 2 editions, like Lego City Undercover, Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga. There were 2 others. I forgot which ones they were.
There's I think it's Lego, Lego DC something. Well, I think Lego DC Super Villains. Okay, so that's one. Lego DC Super Villains. The other one was Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
and then what was the other one? There's another one too.
I think Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, it's Star Wars. And then Lego City Undercover. So I think those are the ones.
Yeah.
And then maybe Harry Potter as well.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely looking forward to Lego City Undercover getting a Switch 2 edition, because I heard that game was really good, and I've been meaning to play that at some point. So a Switch 2 version of the game would be great. I know SLMU would be happy about me streaming that game, so I'm hoping that's announced, like, partially for that. But finally, I think we will see a first-party IP developed by a third-party dev. Kind of like Endless Ocean a couple years ago, because Endless Ocean is a Nintendo IP, and I think like it was developed by like Eureka or something like that. And well, that's usually the developer that makes those games, but it's still a Nintendo IP, so it was like in a partner showcase. We might see one of those games in this. I don't think it will be anything like huge. It might be like a niche IP, but it would still be interesting if we.
Like, I'm always really interested in those kind of, like, develop stuff, because you never know what you get sometimes, right? Where it's like, you know, we got Part-Time UFO one time, we get, you know, Cadence of Hyrule DLC physical thing, you know, Endless Ocean. Like, again, it's not always super common, and it's always not usually something major, but I always do enjoy when they release some sort of, like, weird thing. Like, even they did I mean that wasn't a regular direct, but you have like something like Good Job, where it's like a game development partnership with Nintendo, right? And it is like Nintendo design half, kind of, almost, right? Like, it's like they share the work on the project. So I would say that sort of stuff, we could see something. I'm not sure 100% if we will, because with these things it's always kind of like, oh, maybe they happen to have an announcement, but we don't really know as well, since this is like a Switch 2 kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know if we're gonna get one, but I'm always that's the thing I'm always super excited for. Also, another thing too, did we get wasn't it Rare games, like the NES ones? Wasn't that in a partner showcase? I'm not sure though, but I think it was.
I think there were a couple times where we got NSO drops from a partner showcase. Weirdly enough, Mother 3 in Japan was a part of a partner showcase, which is really weird, because like Mother 3 and like the Mother series in general is mostly a Nintendo thing, even though it was directed by Shigesato Itoi, and he also kind of does his own thing, but it still is like kind of a Nintendo thing. So that was kind of weird that they showed that there. I'm not saying that we'll get Mother 3, but I'm just saying, like, there is a possibility we could get like an NSO thing, and that kind of brings me into my hopes for this partner showcase. One thing that I hope to see is maybe like a GameCube game developed by like a third-party studio, like a third-party GameCube game, like announced here for NSO. I think a Sonic game would be really cool, like maybe Sonic Adventure 2 Battle or Sonic Heroes, something like that, or even like Sonic on GBA, like the Sonic Advance games. Those would be really cool to see here.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of opportunity for that. I always think it's really interesting when these presentations are leaked, because it's clear that there's obviously someone as part of one of these games that's shadow dropping a game on that day, that usually these the leakers get the source from, right?
Yeah,
pretty obvious that that's how they figure it out. So it's like, oh, this game is dropping on the 5th. I wonder why. It's mysterious reason, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you have some of your hopes as well. You wanted to
Yeah,
Talk about those.
I kind of want to rapid fire through these because I don't want the video to go on for too long.
Yeah.
Mario plus Rabbids Switch 2 edition, I think that would be really cool. I'm not sure how likely it is, considering that the development team isn't like fully like there anymore at Ubisoft. They kind of like a lot of them formed their own studio now. I mean, so a Switch 2 edition would
because
like
realistically, because they
realistically.
I've noticed on Amazon that they have like a, maybe they sell it out as other things too. They sell like a bundle that has like both games, but it's like a download thing.
Oh yeah.
But I would like them to just do a Switch 2 edition of the second one, because the first one runs pretty good. Actually runs at 60 surprisingly.
Huh.
On Switch 2. And it's funny because on Switch 1 it runs at 30, so it doesn't really make much sense of why that one only runs like that.
Yeah.
It's very strange. Like, it's one of the only games that I've ever seen do that, where it goes from 30 to 60 because of more power. It's very strange. It's like maybe they were running that on their development kits or something in the Ubisoft studios, and like, oh, okay, now we're gonna put on Switch. Now we just have to make an option for it to go. But it's weird because it never fluctuates. So I find that really interesting with that game. So the second one though does need it because it's running at 30, which isn't bad. But for a game like that, I think 60 would really benefit.
Yeah. And realistically, I don't think we'd see any new content in these games. Well, or at least sparks of hope if that gets a Switch 2 edition. Like, considering that the dev team isn't really fully there anymore. So it will probably just be upgrades. And then another.
Oh yeah, and also another thing too. I was gonna say about I bought like the Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope DLC for like really cheap. It was like they discount that stuff like crazy. I think I bought the DLC for it was like $5 or something. It was super cheap.
Yeah.
So I managed to get everything. So if they do some sort of Switch 2 version, it's gonna be not too expensive, and it's gonna be, or maybe it'll just be a free update. They could just offer that. But knowing Ubisoft, I don't think they'll be free.
Yeah. And another thing, speaking of Ubisoft, like, we've been hearing rumors about like the Rayman 30th anniversary stuff. We might see something there, like either a new Rayman game or a remake of Rayman 1. I've heard rumors about that. I think that's definitely possible. It would be nice to see like some new Rayman content, because it's been like quite a while. I think like the last like significant Rayman thing was like the Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope DLC. So it would be like, I've also heard rumors about like a Rayman Legends remake, which really doesn't seem like necessary, because the game already looks good on every platform that it's on. So I'm hoping it's either like a remake of the original or like something entirely new. But there is a slight chance we could see something like that here.
Yeah.
And then
I'm gonna say another one too, actually, just really quickly, is actually I forgot what I was gonna say. You just continue. I'll think about what it was.
Okay, another copium hope is Klonoa 3. I think it would be amazing if we got like a full revival of Klonoa, considering we got the Fantasy Reverie series 4 years ago, which I can't, well, more like 3.5, but like still, like I can't believe it's been out for that long. And it seems like there was enough development time for a new Klonoa game, or at the very least, like maybe a remake of like the GBA games. That would be interesting as well. But like I think a new Klonoa game would be really cool to see, considering the fact that the remakes apparently sold well. I heard that they sold well. But I would definitely love to see a new Klonoa game. Another thing, GTA 4 and 5. I mean, if 6 is coming to, like, well, whenever that game releases, GTA 6 seems like it's not going to come out till like 2050 at this point. But if that game comes out, I mean, there is a possibility that comes to Switch 2, but probably not at launch. So I think that's kind of out of the question for a direct like this. But GTA 4 and 5, definitely possible. Again, Rockstar does like to do stuff on their own, so we might not see that there, but like it still would be nice to see. Like before 6 we get like 4 and 5. I could see both coming to Switch 1 and 2, considering the fact that GTA 5 was originally on Xbox 360, and like a game like that could definitely run on Switch 1, and then the Switch 2 version would be like probably one of the newer versions of GTA 5. So that's like another thing that I'd like to see.
Yeah. And actually, the thing I remembered again. It's something that actually was kind of rumored, but I think it could happen, or at least a small part of it is. I could see us getting like a remaster of the first Angry Birds game. I think that I may even have a remaster on Apple Arcade or something. But there was rumors about Rovio potentially bringing up, or Rovio, I don't know how you're supposed to say it, but there was rumors about them bringing the old Angry Birds games or having a survey about potential new games that they could bring over, well, like the remasters or ports or whatever. And they had a lot of them listed, and I think they might do one of them and announce it part of the presentation with, like, you know, Sega hopefully backing them to put a lot of these games on Switch. I don't know if it'd be a collection or a standalone just download release. I don't know what it would be. But I could see them doing something. I think that'd be really cool with like mouse support and stuff.
Yeah, it would be perfect with mouse controls. That would be pretty cool, honestly.
Yeah. I think that franchise definitely deserves to have an actual console release, because I don't understand what they're doing. Come on, like, it's not that hard. Just put the games on console. Like, why you have to delete them all and then put the Angry Birds Pop and Bounce and all these random ones that nobody really plays?
Yeah. And then finally...
It's like trying to be like, oh, okay. I was thinking, it's just funny, because it's like, imagine them being like, oh, okay, we have Mario. We're going to delete all the Mario games and then make a non-Mario game and be like, that's Mario. It's like, what?
They're going to have stickers. It's like putting Sticker Stars, the only Mario game. But
oh, yeah.
Yeah. But finally, I think it would be really cool if we got Rare Replay. I know this one's a little less likely since a lot of Rare games are already on NSO. But maybe, like I could still see them doing it. Like, it still would be pretty cool. Maybe there would be, like, a few exclusive ones on there for, like, the Switch and Switch 2 version of it. But I think Rare Replay would definitely be nice to see. You could play Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts on the Switch 2.
Finally! I've been waiting for that. It's been so long. Actually, I've never played that game before. So
actually, I just thought of something insane. Imagine if they announced like a standalone port of Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts for the Switch 1 and 2. Like, just imagine how...
Like, here you go. You've been asking for a long time. Here's the
Nintendo fans, you've been wanting a Banjo-Kazooie game forever. Here's Nuts and Bolts on the Switch 1 and 2. Imagine, like, how insane the backlash would be to that. That would honestly be hilarious. But anyways, I think those are all of our predictions for the partner showcase. I'm honestly looking forward to it. Like, I know some people are disappointed, and I can understand why, but at the same time, like, I do think we have, like, enough first-party games right now, and I think, like, I'm definitely interested in hearing, like, what third-party developers are cooking up for the Switch 2 right now, so definitely looking forward to seeing what they announce. Hopefully there will be enough, like, fairly substantial games here.
Yeah, you know, with these presentations, it's kind of like we don't really know what it is until we're like halfway through, and it's just like, oh, are there just a bunch of, you know, smaller titles or bigger titles?
Yeah.
You know, and especially with these kind of presentations, I also think that, you know, do they save some of, say, the bigger announcements for a proper presentation? But considering that they probably won't do it for a while, maybe they have no choice. So yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be an interesting watch, though. I'm definitely more, like, optimistic for this one than I am for previous ones. Like, especially when we get one in June, I'm always like, yeah, that's not really what we want, right? You know, I do think Nintendo Today, I'm glad we do have that at least. So that way, if Nintendo does want to announce something, they can just announce it through there, which they've done for a lot of stuff so far, right? So it's nice to have that, because I think without Nintendo Today, it'd be a bit more annoying.
Oh yeah. But
right?
Yeah. But anyways, let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments about what could possibly be announced here. But Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and go subscribe to Anton Retro as well. And make sure to check out my Discord server and Blue Sky if you want to. Stay perky!
See ya.